Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 3 and the member are Ade Renaldi and me as a moderator and Dwi Fadila and last Vinni Nasrul. Next slide, please. Our topic, EFL students' perception of blended learning in English language course, learning experience and engagement by Nurmala Elmin Simbolon, 2021. Next slide. The next presentation will be presented by Dila. Dila, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Fajar. Okay, guys, the first presentation will talk about the abstract of this article. So, the importance of blended learning has been emphasized during the current restriction caused by the coronavirus disease 2019, or as we know as COVID-19. But there is a scarcity of studies on the students' learning experience in blended learning, particularly using WhatsApp as one of the learning tools. So, the research reported in this article aims to examine the students' perception of their learning experience in a blended method of learning incorporating social media, WhatsApp, and Google Classroom application as learning instrument. And the data set includes a questionnaire consisting of a 4-point Likert scale and open-ended questions, a recording of WhatsApp, a chat story. The descriptive analysis is used for the closed-end question using the Excel program and content analysis for the open-ended question. And the results show that students positively perceive their learning experience in blended learning. The student also articulate their concern of the internet connection and instruction clarity on the online learning materials. And then this paper highlights some implication of the research findings, including the lecturer's need for professional development that might enable them to help students succeed in blended learning. Okay, we move to the introduction. The increasing use of technological devices has been reshaping the style of education. Currently, many education provides, including universities in Indonesia, respond to this millennial era by modifying or even changing their curriculum. The hybrid method of learning is also known in some contexts as blended learning. It is a combination of a face-to-face classroom when meetings online learning mode in Indonesia. So, it is showed that students' positive attitudes towards blended learning. The students said that the e-learning was useful in their learning, but articulated some technical issue and slow internet connection to be drops. So this study aimed to seek the answer to the following research question. The first one is, what are the student perceptions of their learning experience in the blended learning of the English course? And the second is, what are the students' perceptions of enabling and disabling factor of their engagement in blended learning of the English course? Thank you, Fajar.
Okay, thank you, Dwi. The next material will be presented by Vinni Nasrul. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Fajar. Just talk about the method. First, research design. Using software research, a case study was undertaken in an ELT classroom at a vocational university in Indonesia. It was done by course lecturer to gather information about student perception of their English learning experience in blended learning. And then about the participant, there were 61 first-year students or from the Faculty of Marine and Fisheries Science participating in the research. The research reported in this article was conducted in the classroom of first-year students after they had experienced blended learning in the first semester, Symbolon 2019. In this research, blended learning was implemented in their course using Google Classroom and WhatsApp. And then about the instrument. The questionnaire design came from a review of the related literature on the implementation of online learning, its benefit and challenges. In addition to the questionnaire, a record of the group chat via WhatsApp was used for the data analysis, and activities in WhatsApp focus on practicing English speaking in several topics, including family, hobbies, and English. The course was presented in Google Classroom. And the next about the research procedures. The course comprises 12 weeks of learning session, excluding the mid and final examination. The face-to-face instruction was given on the first of 2 weeks and the last meeting of the course, which was prior to the final examination. In addition to introducing the course, the initial meeting to familiarize the students with both learning tools used in the course. And the student response to the open question of the questionnaire were analyzed and categorized into two main terms. First, the enabling and disabling factors to the student learning and judgment or participation in English course, and each term was divided into three main issues raised by the student. The issues are presented in figure 4 in the finding section. And the data collection, data from the survey were collected at the end of the semester in 2018. The question were presented in the Indonesian language. The survey consists of 10 items. For this article, an English translation of students' response was made. Student names are replaced with numbers such as STU1 and STU10 and STU12. And the next about the data analysis. Multi-method approaches stated by Creswell and Plano Clark 2011 were used for the data analysis. A descriptive analysis was done, the closed question using the Excel program, and content analysis for the open-ended question. And for overall, all of the instrument items, the statistic result indicates a significant correlation between ELT to UI students. Okay, back to the Fajar. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinny. The next presentation will be presented by Adi Rinaldi. Go ahead, Adi.
Okay, thank you, Fajar. Okay, here I'm gonna talk about the findings of this research. The first one is about students' perceptions of their learning experience in the blended learning of the English course. The overall findings show students' positive responses to blended learning in their English course. They specifically perceive the improvement in their vocabulary learning using social media, referring to the benefit of gaining skills when using ICT tools. We can see on the screen the table number 4 about statistical results of the questionnaire. As shown in the table, the findings show that overall students enjoy learning in the English 2 course. Specifically, the majority of the students expressed the agreement with statement 1. English 2 course is fun. This positive perception appears to link with the benefits they experience during the course. Students give the same ratings to the statement English 2 course benefit in the improvement of my English skills in general and statement 1. The low score of SD in both statements indicates a low disparity of the students' responses to the statement. Furthermore, the students' responses in the open-ended question specifically mention the improvement of their vocabulary learning. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, next we have students. We have student perception of each learning mode and the tools used in online mode. You can see on the screen. Uh, the table, the pie chart shows that 39% of students still prefer classroom meetings, which slightly outnumber the groups that prefer to the two types of online learning media. Students prefer WhatsApp to the other online learning tool. The positive attitude toward this social media was reflected in their learning engagement in the WhatsApp activities. In addition, approximately 90% of the students indicated their agreement that WhatsApp helped improve their English communication skills. Furthermore, the positive attitude toward the use of this social media was augmented by students' responses to the open-ended question regarding the benefit of online learning. Okay, next slide, please. Next, we have students' perception of enabling and disabling factors to their learning engagement in the blended learning of the English course. Okay, as shown in the screen on the table, more than half of the students had a positive opinion about Google Classroom. It is worth bearing in mind that this reported study was a response to a need for improvement in the university e-learning system that was less supportive of the students. This positive perception may reflect the students' application towards the courses being taught. Furthermore, this figure could be linked to the benefits they obtain when learning online. Some students express we can get to know the Google Classroom and Google Docs and can further improve our skill of using the IT related tool. And the other one say working on weekly assignment in Google Classroom. I can use the Google Classroom application properly and this has increased my skills. And also some students mention the name of the learning tool and other describe is relating to the tool like the following. All is very useful for me because I can find out how to learn using the internet. It is also important to note that the number of students raising the issue of the design of learning of online learning tasks was similar to those who perceived limited interaction with the teacher to be a disabling factor in their learning online. Students' limited knowledge of using the learning tools seems to contribute to a number of students expressing their preference for traditional classroom meetings. The same student mentioning this technical users said, it would be nice if there is sufficient time learning in the classroom. A comment by another student seems to further support this perspective. We should often discuss it again in the classroom. And other students express similar ideas in a more direct way. The frequency of face-to-face classroom meetings needs to be increased so there is an interaction between the teacher and the students, which which makes learning easier and is greatly helpful. And the last is, in my opinion, more frequent classroom meetings are necessary to help me understand the lesson. Okay, that's all for me. I'll give back to the Fajar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ade. The next material will be presented by me. Discussion. There are some factors contributing to students' positive perspective on blended learning. In addition to use of ICT devices it is worth examining the role of feedback in students' learning engagement. The provision of feedbacks on student learning, oral and written, seems to enable their participation in online learning. The findings in this reported study have some implication. The first one, the introduction of online learning needs to be done gradually through blended learning. Second, ELT teachers need to be supported with professional development. Next, please. Furthermore, teachers need training of giving clear instruction for online learning tasks that are different from the tasks to be done in the traditional classroom, where the students can access support from teacher directly when they encounter unclarity in the class. Unclear guidance in online learning may hinder students from participating in learning activities that can influence their learning outcomes. The study found that students experience some benefit from blended learning using social media like WhatsApp and from the feedback on the work they receive from the lecturer. The research also revealed students' concerns in blended learning that include the lack of clarity about the learning task and their limited familiarity with the use of ICT learning tools. The limitation of this study is that no targeted assessment of students' achievement of their vocabulary learning was undertaken, suggesting this topic to be included in future research. I think that's all for us. Thank you for watching and see you next week. Thank you.